history of the Israelites and you Google bondage in Egypt, you might not get exactly what you want. Those silicon-based, silly units. Humans would never make that mistake because they're very good at associative intelligence. Mobility, this is just a pet peeve of mine. These are called mobile devices. Really? I think they're little silicon parasites that require carbon-based units to walk them around. And we'll see actually if that's a parasitic or a symbiotic relationship soon. Actually, I'm sure it's symbiotic. Consistency. Carbon intelligence needs to sleep. Silicon intelligence needs a UPS. Although we'll see someday, maybe silicon will have to sleep. It'll be interesting to see. Emotional intelligence. Gestures, facial expressions, empathy. These are parts of human intelligence that are extremely important to everyone. And think of how important that is when you're actually caring for another human being. So if you ask me, Charlie, will you help me? And I go, sure, I'll help you. Think of what I did. I not only adopted universal design principles by saying yes, nodding my head, but I also put out my hands to say I would be glad to help you. Computers don't do this quite yet, and this is an area of great work. But one caveat I'll mention in this term, this has turned out in our system to be a relative advantage because the lack of emotional response also implies the lack of judgment. You would be surprised, I was surprised, how often people will do what their system tells them to do. Dad, take your medication, take your blood pressure, where they would not actually take that sort of advice from their daughter. So that's one up for grabs. Sensing. This may be a tie. Humans have amazing senses, but they are limited in scope. That's not a limitation for silicon-based intelligence. We are talking about seeing in different frequencies, infrared vision, listening over great distances. Ability to learn. I love that my Evo corrects my misspellings. I hate the fact that once I misspell a word accidentally, it misspells it for the rest of time. So I'm not sure it has quite the ability to learn. Now, I'm not sure that K-12 is doing that much better, but still, we'll see what happens there. And finally, existential intelligence. I'm not sure if my Dell ponders its own mortality. I'm further not sure whether the Microsoft blue screen is actually silicon dementia or suicide. Maybe someday, maybe someday they will tell us. The secret, of course, is to marry carbon and silicon-based intelligence, possibly to culminate in a new cyborg intelligence. But in the final analysis, silicon must become more like carbon. Life is not digital, life is analog. And we are now, at least for now, the masters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charlie. Very nice way to get us started on this panel. And now to move on to another non-carbon-based program, but Rich. Rich Lobovsky is going to speak to us. He's Vice President of Business Development for Lifecomm, which is a subsidiary of Hughes Telematics, funded by Hughes Qualcomm and AMAC. Lifecomm is going to launch a new program this year, a mobile personal emergency response service. Again, we've heard from Lori and others that PERS is one of the largest types of programs that are out there in this space. So we are going to hear from him about his program. Rich comes with 20+ years experience in business development and will talk to us about their new product. There you are.
Thank you. First, I'd like to thank the Silver Summit for inviting us to participate, and we're grateful for the opportunity and excited to be here. Baby boomers. I know we've probably heard a lot about that today, but here they come. First baby boomers turning 65 years old right now. And just to quote some statistics, the U.S. Census Bureau tells us that there are about 37 million 65-year-olds and above today. That number is going to 54 million in 2020 and nearly 72 million in 2030. There's a recent Pew Research Center report that said that every day for the next 19 years, 10,000 people will turn 65 years old. So today, there's about 13% of the population that's 65 and older, and that number will go to about 18% of the population by the time the last baby boomer turns 65. We know the baby boomers are a sophisticated group of buyers. They have high expectations and demands for practical products that are high value add and that are also packaged in modern style. We also know that about 1/3 of folks over the age of 65 take a fall every year. Today, that's about 13 million people or so, and that number is going to go to about 24 million people by the end of 2030. And obviously, it's critical to, when that type of event occurs, it's critical to provide assistance to that individual as quickly as possible. We know that survivability rates increase drastically the faster you can get to an individual to assist them. Lifecomm is building products and services to help the user gain more independence and freedom in their life and also provide enhanced peace of mind for the caregiver. We did a lot of market research and talked to a lot of caregivers, and we know that caregivers have an incredible influence over the people that they're caring for, and in many cases they're the ones that go out and buy products and services to help the individuals that they care for. So as we're thinking about our products and services, the caregiver is straight in our mind. Lifecomm is an innovative mobile health and wellness solutions company. It has a proven best-in-class infrastructure and wireless connectivity services via the largest wireless carriers in the U.S. As it was mentioned, the company operates as a majority-owned subsidiary of Hughes Telematics, who provides connected services today to the Mercedes-Benz drivers, as well as Qualcomm and American Medical Alert Corporation, all involved in the joint venture, and it was announced in May of 2010. I just want to take a minute to talk about each of the strategic partners and what they bring. As I mentioned, Hughes Telematics has developed a robust infrastructure to deliver emergency assistance services to drivers of Mercedes-Benz, and we'll be announcing some new projects that we'll be working on in 2011. And Lifecomm gets to leverage that infrastructure to deliver its services to its customers. Qualcomm has, Lifecomm was actually born at Qualcomm in the Wireless Health and Life Sciences group there in about the 2005 or 6 time frame. I happened to be at Qualcomm from 2003 to 2009, and so we took all the intellectual know-how that we developed there and put that into the spin out of the organization. Qualcomm is also involved in the development of our mobile device, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then American Medical Alert Corporation is a company that's been in the PERS industry for 25 plus years. They've got about 80,000 subscribers today, and they bring a wealth of expertise to the market, very strong call center infrastructure, and great knowledge about helping to assist seniors in times of need. So Lifecomm will offer a portfolio of products and services that's included in this advanced mobile personal emergency response system. As you can see, I'm wearing the pendant version, and it also will be available in a watch version and a version that can clip to the belt. And essentially, it consists of a simple-to-use, stylish, wearable cellular device. It includes the Qualcomm Internet of Everything module, which also has embedded GPS. So it enables mobility. And I think if you look at the types of products and services that are pervasive in the market today, most of those products keep the person in the home. Once the person leaves the home, the system no longer works. So this has a cellular chip in it. It'll initially be rolled out on CDMA and then eventually on the GSM, GPRS networks. And with GPS, we can obviously locate the individual. And then we're also building a number of other sensors into this solution to really gear this more towards the active senior, things like activity monitoring, so we'll be able to measure steps as if we had a pedometer, as well as measure levels of activity. And then also fall detection. And as I mentioned before, falls are prevalent and will continue to grow in terms of numbers. So that type of technology, we believe, is critical to aid individuals in times of need. And obviously, we've put some thought into style here. You know, if you look at what's out in the marketplace today, that was one thing that we thought lacked. And so we're working hard to develop products and services that can actually appeal to people and that they'll want to wear and use these devices and not be embarrassed by them. In our market research, we found that there is still a stigma out there, and people always say that, well, not for me, maybe for my 103-year-old mother or something. So we believe that including style in these kinds of products and services